Now let's discuss some kind of like what is augmented reality is all about. Can you go on to the next slide? We will actually see it in this particular session, what this augmented reality is all about and virtual reality is all about. Can you go on to the next slide? No, later on. So this immersive experience, when we talk about like immersive experience, now there are lots of gadgets and actual platforms where you are actually immersed in a completely different environment. It might be a cave environment, something which is computer aided virtual environment, that whenever you turn back you see and you are tracked, your head movement is tracked and you can see all those things. So this immersive experience is nothing but motion capturing of all your hand gestures, and motion capturing cameras will be tracing all your movements. Next slide. So what are the basic elements? The basic elements are the same. Again, we are using the same basic elements, but the how we arrange it and how you actually add some kind of like interactivity and intelligence to it, that makes the difference. As you can see that the basic elements are the same. Motion means animation, means visual and audio. Visuals means obviously your 3D model along with your textures and all those things. Then interaction. Here comes the main part where actually we make those objects some kind of like intelligence. We put the brain into those particular objects and make it quite smart. So this experience development, or say immersive experience development, how that is done, how that is different from your game development. Now as you can see that if you know the syllabus of say engineering or the syllabus of say bachelor in science, what happens is that the first year course remains the same, and then from there onwards your actual specialization starts. Similarly over here you can see that concept, story, art and sound and the game engine, that remains the same, or your building block. Your first year is the same, but from there onwards we take on a completely different path. We differ from the rest of the things. So we no longer process that kind of like their philosophy, but here it starts imbibing some different philosophy, some different technologies over here, where the AR, VR, AR is nothing but augmented reality and VR stands for the virtual reality. Those SDKs means software development kits that comes in, we use lots of libraries, lots of different gadgets in order to give that particular experience and that to come up with that particular product. Okay, so this you can actually use it Unity 3D, because Unity 3D provides lots of, because that engine itself is so open that you can actually collaborate with that thing and you can take the feedback and lot of communication that is required. So Unity 3D is the best engine that what we have figured out. We have tried lots of other ways and this thing forms, but Unity 3D fits perfectly well in this scenario. So AR VR SDKs, and then finally the product is shifted. So again the user doesn't get only some kind of package, but he has to actually get that experience on say VR platform. VR platform means actually he will also use some kind of like head mounted displays, which is like then he will be immersed into that reality, and in some cases on your phone also you can get augmented reality. Let's see that one. So as we were talking about like lots of reality, mixed reality, now what this thing is all about. So whenever you must have heard about like on phone also you can see a particular object and some kind of like 3D model crops up. So what does it? That is called as an augmented reality. Something like some kind, what augmented reality is, it enhances your reality, physical reality, by introducing computer graphics, or computer graphics rendered onto top of that thing. So that is an augmented reality. And there is a term called as an augmented virtual reality. So it is nothing but whenever like world that is getting enhanced and lots of information is imbibed onto it. Something like you must have heard about like Google Glasses, where actually you can see the actual world, but on the top of it, suppose if you want to take a right turn to go to Shastri Road, it will actually guide you that this is the turn you have to take. So that is also called as an actually optical through or video through, in which actually we are viewing the actual world, but on the top of it, whenever you are seeing that fridge, that it will some kind of like things will pop up that this is an LG refrigerator, AC, or suppose if you are driving on a bike with Google glasses on, then it will guide you, something like exactly like a GPS system. So there is lots of mix and matches of these buzzwords. So in 1994, there was one scientist who actually, next slide please, who actually taken a total broader look of what this is, because that is too much of confusing terms. So let's rearrange all these things in order to understand it in a better perspective. So now, as you were saying that right now we are still actually wandering or see in real environment, and there is a virtual environment, completely disconnected with real life. So that was a virtual environment. Now how these technologies comes here is that there are initially there were systems that is called as a tangible user interface. Now suppose if you are actually moving some kind of like blocks, then in 3D world you can see that in 3D world those objects also gets rearranged, and there some kind of like intelligence is created. So that was a tangible user interface. If you don't understand in the first go, don't worry. We will actually, I'm going to distribute all these slides, so don't write anything about it, but just try to understand what the different words are, say different critical words over here. Now when we talk about augmented reality, there are spatial reality and see-through reality, as I was talking about. Now whenever you must have seen a lot of different kiosks where actually you can go and touch and it will open up different objects. So it is like when, the touch screens, so big touch screens, and that is also connected to very vast kind of like cloud computing system, which is again which will give you a lot of feedback. So that comes under spatial AR. Then see-through AR, as I was talking about, that with the Google glasses you can do. And there is another AR, something called as your mobile also you can do. I don't know whether you have seen it or not. McDonald's actually offers you some kind of like application, APK application. So if you actually start viewing that particular, launch that application and see that McDonald's logo, then some kind of like butterfly will appear or some kind of other stuff will appear. So this kind of like marketing gimmick that actually people just try to get attention of a user. So that comes under see-through AR, which is again comes under augmented reality. Then semi-immersive VR, where you are actually wearing glasses and you are actually interacting with touch screens. But still, it is not fully immersed into virtual reality world. Whenever you are totally wearing the head mounts and the total scenario is built, that is a 3D model, then you are immersed in 3D world, and that comes under the virtual reality.